Welcome to Saxon Math Course 3 Starred Problems for Lesson 95. Now, the first starred problem on today's homework is question number 4. Question number 4 talks about fuel economy, and it says that in Europe they talk about their fuel economy in gallons per 100 kilometers. And you're given that a vehicle took a trip and used 150 gallons to go 2,500 kilometers. Now, in order to find out what its fuel economy per 100 kilometers is, you should realize that fuel economy is proportional because the rate at which a car uses fuel, on average, will remain constant. So we're going to set up a proportion of x over 100 equals 150 over 2,500. Before we look for a vertical or horizontal rule, we can cancel out just a little bit, and we can find out some pretty useful information. We can obviously start off by canceling out a 0. They're both divisible by 10. However, they're also both divisible by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 250 divided by 5 is 50. Once we've canceled to 3 over 50, the simplest form, we can now find a horizontal rule going from 50 to 100 and from 3 to x. Now, this is a times 2 horizontal rule, which will tell us that 3 times 2 is 6. So x is 6, or 6 over 100. Now, question number 5 asks about the probability of rolling 2 number cubes and getting a 1 and also a 1. Remember, the probability of compound events is the product, multiplication, of each event's probability. Now, on a number cube, there is only one 1, and there are 6 other numbers. So we're going to do some fraction multiplication. We're going to multiply the top by the top. 1 times 1 is 1. The bottom by the bottom. 6 times 6 is 36. Now, that's done. That's the probability. If you want to know the probability of getting snake eyes, it's a 1 out of 36 chance. If you roll the dice 36 times, there's the likelihood that you'll only get 1 snake eyes. Now, question 7 is a question about sets. Now, set E is an infinitely extending set in both directions. So we've got lots of negative numbers, lots of positive numbers, but the pattern is -4, -2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. If we're trying to determine what set that is, that's the set of even integers. We've got positive numbers, we've got negative numbers, but they're all even numbers. The set F is ... then -3, -1, 1, 3, 5, and 7, ... Now, this is also going to extend infinitely into the negative numbers and infinitely into the positive numbers. Now, with that, all of these, -3, -1, 1, 3, 5, and 7, are odd. If we were trying to decide what set this is the set of odd integers. Now, question A says, how many elements are in E intersect F? Now, remember we said that the intersect symbol looks like an N, so we pretend it's in E and F. Now, what's in E and F? What number would be both even and odd? Well, none of them. So there are no elements. We could say there are 0 elements. In E, F. And then B says, E union F is what set of numbers? Well, if you combine the even integers and the odd integers, you just have the integers. So 7b is the integers. Now, question number 9 talks about a heating/cooling duct in a building. I tried to do an approximation of the drawing that's in the textbook. It's got a tube that has a large opening going to a small opening and another small opening. Now, it asks us to find the area of each opening and describe the relationship between them. Now, area of a circular opening will be pi times the radius squared. We're given the diameter for each one. We're told that the largest one is diameter of 10 inches. The smaller ones have a 6-inch and 8-inch diameter, respectively. So starting with the 10-inch. The 10-inch diameter opening is going to have an area of pi times 5 squared. 5 squared is 25, so it's 25 pi. The larger of the two small ones, the 8-inch, is going to have an area of pi times 4 squared. Now 4 times 4 is 16, so it's 16 pi. The 6-inch diameter is going to have a radius of 3, so it's pi times 3 squared. 3 times 3 is 9. Now, once we've found the area, you should be able to see the pattern here. These two, if we add them, equal this one. In other words, the areas of the two smaller openings add to equal the area of the large opening. Alright, that was question number 9. I'm going to leave this up for 2 seconds, and then I'm going to be flipping the page. Alright. Question number 1. Or sorry, not number 1. 21. Question 21 gives us a base radius, a height, a slant height. It gives us a base radius and a slant height, and asks us for the height. So we're going to plug that into the Pythagorean theorem. Remember, these two are A and B, and this one is C. So we're going to have, well, we don't know what this is, but we know what this is. So we're going to do 5 squared plus x squared equals 20 squared. 5 squared is 25, plus x squared will equal 20 squared, which is 400. If we subtract 25 from both sides, we'll get x squared equals 375. We need to take the square roots of both sides, and x will equal the square root of 375. Now, we can see that this is a multiple of 25, right? Because it ends in 75. So we can know we're going to be able to take a 25 out of it. Now, if I was talking about $3.75, I would know that that is 15 quarters. So I know that 375 divided by 25 is 15. And 15 is 3 and 5. So I can say that this is equal to the square root of 25, because I know 25 is a perfect square, and 15 has two prime number factors, so it is not a perfect square. So times the square root of 15. The square root of 25 is 5, so 5 root 15 will be my final answer. 23 is a starred problem, and 23A says sketch the cone that is represented by the net that you're given. Now the net you're given is a circle. We're told the radius is 5, and then you're given a wavy shape that would wrap around to make a cone. We're told that it has a 90-degree angle, and this is 20. Now, when we're sketching that, the base of a cone is a circle, but when I draw the base of a cone, in order to emulate perspective, since it's going off into the distance, and we're not looking at it flat ahead, I draw it kind of like this. If you want to do a little math experiment, you can take a glass from your kitchen and look at the top of it straight on. It's a circle, but if you tilt it, it will look more and more like this. If you tilt it too much, you'll eventually just get the straight line of the flat edge of the glass. But if you're looking for some inspiration for your artistic side, you can always grab a glass, try seeing what different angles will do to a circle. Now, this will give us a cone. We know that the radius here is 5, and this side here is our slant height of 20. Now, part B says find the surface area, and that might seem tricky because I haven't told you how to find the surface area of a cone before, but we do know what shape this is and what shape this is. Now, my drawing's not too perfect, but this is a sector of a larger circle. This is a 90-degree central angle. So we can find the area of the circle and multiply by the fraction that 90 degrees would be, and the area of this tiny circle, which is just going to be 5 squared times pi. 5 squared is going to be 25. Now, the fraction of 90 over 360, you can cancel a little bit. Divide 9 by 36 would give you 1/4. So we're going to have 1/4 times 20 squared. 20 squared is 400. A fourth of 400 is 100. And 25 is just going to be 25. Now, since these both have a pi, we can add them and get 125. So even though we didn't have a formula for this shape, if we recognized it was a part of a larger circle, a 90-degree part, and that this was a radius, we can still find our answer. The last starred problem is question 24. Now, question 24 says solve for x, which means we're going to isolate. 2x squared equals 50. First step, divide both sides by 2. That's going to give us x squared equals 25. And then we need to take the square root of both sides. That's going to give us x equals plus or minus square root of 25, which is 5. All right, that was our starred problems for the day. Make sure you finish up the rest of your homework. Make sure you turn it in. Remember, a missing assignment is going to be an absence, so get your work in. Have a wonderful day, stay safe, and wash your hands.